What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today on the table in front of us is the Pena Mini Diesel. This is a stellar knife that isn't going to stay in the collection. And we'll get to the reason why in just a minute. This is a Riot built knife designed by Pena. It is M390 with that fantastic hollow grind. This is such a great knife. The carbon fiber and the titanium come together in an absolutely smooth and flawless contact point. Hi, Cat. Feel free to get off the table. Anyway, look, there's nothing wrong with this knife. In fact, there's a lot of things right with this knife. The action is stellar. It is smooth and quiet. The thumb studs are just perfect. It's got a nice deep choil that you can choke up. A little small for my hands, but we'll get to that again in a minute. This is a great knife. It's not a big knife. It's a medium-sized knife. By way of comparison, here is the Rat Model 1. As you can see, is considerably bigger. And just so we've got a small knife to compare it to, here is the Rat 2. The Pena fits right in the middle, and that's kind of the problem. So I have, as I have mentioned, really big hands. And that means that smaller knives like this have to have the handle area, the grip area, cut just right, or they don't work for me, and that is where we ran into trouble. Now, this is, again, an amazing knife. I'm so sad that it doesn't quite work, but here, let me show you. In a loose grip, we're fine, but when I really get a hold of it, my pinky rides up over this lip, and I'm just pinched inside the grip area. Too much so. It's just not comfortable. Now, am I going to use this thing like seriously, deep, hard use? No, of course not. But it's little things like that that keep knives out of my permanent collection. Should you own this knife? Well, if you have more normally sized hands than I do, yeah. For $300, there is no way you're going to get a better and more knife than this. It is gorgeous. The titanium backspacer, which climbs almost all the way up the body of the knife. The little spot back here for the lanyard, if that's your thing. The anodized, beautifully blue screws, the beautiful pivot, the way that this is essentially a bolster lock, right? Because of these carbon fiber it rides up here. It's got this little tiny bolster area where the release is for the lock. Again, the action on this thing is superb. The blade is beautiful. It has a compound grind, as I said. It is super hollow through here, so it's really thin behind the edge, right? It's got a swedge across the top. It does have a little bit of a recurve. Not my favorite, but not a deal killer either. No, for me, the deal killer is that it's just too small. In fact, a friend of mine is buying this from me, and he's got considerably more normal-sized hands, and he's exceptionally happy. But that's okay. One of the nice things about collecting knives is we don't have to keep everything, and not everything is going to be for us. It's not a negative against the knife. It's us, and the way it fits with us, and the way that we feel about it. This is a great knife in every regard, except it's just a little too small for me. And that is where the end comes. Like I said, loose carry, which is how I was in the beginning. I didn't really notice it. It's fine. You know, hey, look at this knife. I'm showing it off. But boy, I'll tell you, I used it a couple of times. And that right there is just the deal killer for me. And it's a shame. For me. Again, there's nothing wrong with this knife at all. It is spectacularly well made. Riot, of course, just does that. They make excellent knives. It's beautiful. And if it was a half-inch longer in the handle, I would have never gotten rid of this knife in a million years. But it isn't. And so it's going to go onto a home with somebody who will appreciate it just the way it is without any complaint or qualms. And that's one of the really nice things about collecting knives. Things pass through our collection that maybe not work for us, but we know they're going to work exceptionally well for somebody else. And that's what this is. If you like mid-sized knives, if you've got basically large down into medium, you know, small or large down into medium-sized hands, and you are looking for a refined, well-made, gorgeous knife to add to the collection, the Pena Mini Diesel, you cannot go wrong with it. They do make a version of this that's flipper, by the way, and if that's your thing. I'm a little flippered out, so a lot of the knives that I've been looking at lately tend to have thumb studs because I really enjoy that action. Would I get rid of this knife if I didn't have others that I liked better? Probably not. I think I would have held on to it. But because I do, and other Riot knives that actually fit my hand better, this is, again, going to go on to a new home. But boy, I'll tell you, Riot makes one hell of a knife, and the Pena designs are just so good. Anyway, thanks for watching today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments. If you haven't liked the video already, please do so. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I'll see you next time.